G'day everyone, welcome back to another Sun Moon TCG video. My name is Bodhi and today we're looking at Lapras GX and a Waterbox deck list from the Pokemon TCG Sun Moon set. Before we delve into the deck list and the strategy of the deck overall, we first got to have a look at Lapras GX and see what makes it such a good fit for the list. Lapras GX is a 190 HP basic water Pokemon that is weak to grass. Lapras has 3 attacks. The first is Collect for a single water energy that allows you to draw 3 cards. Lapras's main attack is Blizzard Burn, which for 3 water does 160 damage. And its GX attack for 3 energy deals 100 damage and gives automatic paralysis. We'll talk more about Lapras GX and how it combines with other water Pokemon in the deck building portion of the video. We're going to talk about one combination only with Lapras GX today, mostly because there isn't much else the card fits into at the moment. For the time being, this deck building discussion will be a little bit longer and more in-depth, but since there is only one build of the deck that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, I'll be including a full deck list and we will be going over that as well. The deck that we are going to be discussing today, before I give you the list of the deck, is Waterbox. Called Waterbox for its obvious inclusion of several key water Pokemon, and popularized by the Seismitoad Articuno Regice variant of the deck that was played to great success at the National Championships and the World Championships in 2016. Waterbox's objective is going to be stacking energy on a few key water Pokemon, abusing the card Rough Seas, and switching between your lock water attackers when you need to, thanks to Manaphy EX. Lapras GX provides new life to the deck since the removal of Seismitoad EX due to rotation. Lapras provides a big HP power-hitting Pokemon, with a much greater ability to take knockouts against EX Pokemon than previous iterations of the deck. Using a key Ice Beam in the later stages of the game to either knock out or stall your opponent is going to be key to victory. At its heart, however, aside from Lapras, this deck will aim to lock your opponent out of the game with both Regice and Glaceon EX. Regice for 3 energy does 70 damage, and prevents damage done to Regice by EX Pokemon the following turn. Glaceon, for 3 energy, does 70 damage, and prevents damage done to this Pokemon by evolutions during the next turn. Although we are slowly moving away from EXs as Sun and Moon becomes legal tomorrow, Regice will still play a big part in the deck, hoping to take advantage of decks that still rely on EXs to do damage. In the list I am going to show you today, I have decided to include Octillery as the draw engine of the deck over the more generic use of Shaman EX. Although Shaman EX is a great card in pretty much every deck in the game looking to set up quickly, and although Waterbox is considered one of those decks, we will not be needing it due to its valuable 2 prizes that it gives up for relative ease. Shaman EX is a counter-intuitive to the lock of this deck, as unnecessary bench Pokemon will take space away from the main attackers and not provide any water support like Manaphy and Octillery. Octillery, in combination with Dive Ball, is going to ensure that the deck can survive well into the late game and only give up 1 prize should your opponent decide to take it out. Before we move on to the deck list and the explanation of the list, it is important to talk about one more key card that is going to benefit our strategy as much as any Pokemon in the deck. That card is Rough Seas. Rough Seas heals 30 damage from each water Pokemon or lightning Pokemon in play each turn, and will make cards like Decidueye and any Golbat variant decks struggle to take KOs on your Pokemon as you will be healing constantly. The deck will be running 3 to 4 copies of Rough Seas, as it is vital to the deck should you decide to play it. Moving right along now, guys, we're going to be taking a look at the deck list portion of the video. Without further ado, let's go through the cards in portions so we can get a decent understanding of how the deck is built from the outset. Firstly, we have the Pokemon. 3 Lapras GX and 3 Regice seems relatively standard, although depending on decks in your metagame and surrounding areas, you may wish to change these numbers up a little bit. 1 of each Glaceon EX and Manaphy EX. These are more of your support style Pokemon and not 100% necessary in every game, which is why we're only running 1 of each. 2 copies of Remoraid and Octillery round off the Pokemon. Since this is our mid-game draw engine, we're looking at get a copy out there as early as possible. We'll take a look at the supporters next, guys, where you can see we've gone for a relatively standard list. 4 Professor Sycamore and 3 N is pretty much the standard in most lists for the time being, but the third N is often a contested pick. With cards like Lily and Kukui entering the format, that third N slot may be up for grabs in this deck, but only time will tell as we keep going in the Sun and Moon format. 2 Lysander, of course, is very standard as well to take advantage of Lapras' strong 3 energy attack for 160 damage, and 1 copy of each Professor Kukui and Hex Maniac in order to account for a number of different instances where those cards would be available and useful. To the trainers next, and we can see that we're playing a very standard 4 Dive Ball, 4 Max Elixir, 4 Rough Seas, and 4 Versus Seeker. Max Elixir is the core of the deck in order to accelerate energy onto our water Pokemon as quickly as possible, and 4 VS Seeker to reuse our important supporters throughout the game. The deck takes a try at running 5 different 2-ofs, which can easily be altered slightly to fit into our current metagame in your area, or due to just personal preference all over. Ultra Ball to search for things that we wouldn't normally get with Dive Balls, like Manaphy and Glaceon. Fighting Fury Belt and EXP Share as the personal preference tools of the deck. 2 Super Rod to recover energy, and 2 Energy Switch to keep our energy live during important moments of the game. Finally, we're playing 11 Water Energy to make sure that we're able to hit Max Elixir as often as possible, while still maintaining the ability to attach for turn each and every turn of the game. As with all of our videos, I like to leave a section at the end to go over the weaknesses of the deck and the card we're chatting about today. With Lapras, and with all Pokemon in these videos, I have outlined 3 weaknesses I think might affect its popularity this coming format. Firstly, Lapras GX is weak to Grass, which is a type that will be very represented in the Pokemon TCG come Sun and Moon, with Lurantis GX, Decidueye GX, Vespiquen, Sarina, and even Sceptile EX and Mega Sceptile EX still in the format. Lapras may struggle if it comes up against a grass-based deck going forward. Lapras is also going to struggle due to a lower emphasis on EX Pokemon in the current standard format, should it come to that. Although I'm not sold on this opinion, I believe that Lapras GX is a really powerful card against EX cards, and so is Regice for obvious reasons. Should GX Pokemon begin to take over, Lapras GX's popularity will go downhill very fast. Finally, Lapras GX cannot one-shot these GX Pokemon I was just speaking about, not being able to KO any of these big 250 HP Pokemon in the format may also prove to be problematic should the format go that way and should we get there after Sun and Moon. Thanks for watching everyone. Make sure to check out our social media on screen. Hit me up on Twitter at Bodhi, that's 3 H's, and make sure to subscribe to get all our upcoming Sun and Moon Pokemon TCG content. We'll see you guys soon.